Let's see. All right, y'all. So I am going to find this image again. And again, we've been doing basic drawing exercises and using shapes to draw things, to draw objects, identifying the basic shapes in the objects, and then laying down those basic shapes in proximity to each other, in proportion to each other, and using that method to build out the basic outline sketch of our objects. And we went through a series of simple still life. Then we went to building facades. We went to some building facades that had a little bit more depth. And then we went to cars and boats. So now I'm going back to the original reference images, and I am using those reference images to refine the sketches. So paying attention to the details a little bit more and using those reference images to refine the sketches, if that makes sense. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and let me know. Otherwise, we are here doing our beginner drawing practice. Okay, that's better, I think. Bon Bon Amor, welcome in. Thank you for joining. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I am going through some beginner drawing practice exercises. So that's where I am right now. I'm refining sketches that I did previously. So again, feel free to drop any questions that you might have in the chat. All right, so I basically finished this section of the additional detail. So now I'm going to the roof line. So here the roof line does have a little bit of an extension here that I didn't address in that initial round of sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Here also the roof line has, there is a slight curve here that I'll also address. Excuse me. Auntie Tanya made it. Thank you for liking the live. Ashby40, this is, if you can see it there, it's called the Mitsubishi, and it's their vermilion Prussian blue. I hope you're still here so you can see that. But yeah, that's the yeah. So I buy them in packs. Oh, Auntie Tanya made it. Please do. I try to share as much as I can about what I am about, like printing, you know. So feel free to take a look at my videos. I do block printing, I do letterpress printing, and I do screen printing. I don't post a lot of the screen printing, but I do it. Maybe I need to do that. So definitely check them out. Hey, Black Lotus, good morning, my friend. How are you this morning? I hope you're feeling better today. Thank you for getting your heart me. All right, y'all. If you have other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Oh, Ashby, you said you're learning to draw recently. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, if I'm, I use different things to do my sketches. I'm actually doing a back to basics drawing practice right now, which is why this is what I'm working on. So I'm doing like basic drawing exercises in the morning because I've kind of taken it back like I am a beginner. So I am going down that path. So in the mornings I'm here doing these beginner exercises. Um, so yeah, I use these pencils. I've been using them for a number of years, and I buy them in packs. But I also sketch a lot with what do you call it? I also sketch a lot with uh like mechanical pencils, any other kind of pencil. I use these a lot, but I don't only use them. So I'm using them especially during this practice because I'm doing it mostly on the live, so it's so it's easier for folks to differentiate the different stages of the refining of the sketch that we're doing. Um, but also these colors can hide under paint and stuff if you put it down light enough. Or you can do a light erase. Um, and the lines are still very clear, and get them super light, and if you're painting or something on top of them, they hide really nicely. And if you happen to work in Photoshop, you can also separate the color layers when you use this style of pencil sometimes. Good morning, Rocky. How are you, my friend? Thank you for getting your heart me. Oh, not a problem, Ashby. Go, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Add, thank you for joining. Oh, Rocky, what's going on? You spent how long were you live the other day? I get concerned that you on those live streams for far too long, my friend. All right, also something I'll point out here if I'm going to address like refining this part of the sketch, you'll see here that I had in the basic initial shape, I had identified just a basic triangle here. So now in refining that, there is lots to address. I do need to ensure that there's a swing in the pitch of the roof here. There's a curve here that I need to address. I need to address this piece of it here, shortness. Um, in that initial sketch, I could have put myself a triangle right here also to help. So there are a few things. Um, there are a few things that I will address now in this second stage of refinement. Thanks, Rocky. Oh, you were on for 5 hours. That's what. So, do you think? I'm not agreeing with you about your crappy body, but do you think that, especially if you're going to be on for that many hours, do you think a different setup would work better for you? What when you're doing your like commissions and stuff, is that the way you're set up? Exactly, Rocky. And the next phase of it I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna use a light box and do the do line work and then take it. For some of them, I'm just trying to show folks the different ways that they can do this next step. So that third refining, I'm going to use on some of them. I'm going to use the light box um, to do it. Some I'll do right here on the same sheet. Some I'll use the light box to transfer to do a sharper, um, cleaner outline. All right, y'all. So the way I'm going to do this is I need to pay attention where all these elements are. So the point of this piece here is not quite, if let's take this down a little bit so you can see the whole thing, is not quite, if I was to go from here to here, which I already have drawn out here, it's not quite at the halfway mark. Actually, y'all, maybe I'm wrong. It actually might be at the halfway mark. So eyeballing it, it looks like it might just be about at the halfway mark. So an interesting thing I'll tell you to pay attention to here is where at this stage in the game, in the drawing process, we have not learned, as a beginner, I probably wouldn't have learned perspective yet. Let's say it that way. Or as a beginner, I'm not using my knowledge of perspective because I'm doing this practice like I'm just learning to draw. And yes, I know perspective because I have experience, but as a beginner, I probably wouldn't have learned perspective yet. So we're addressing that. We're addressing the things that you might address with perspective through shapes and placement. So I'm going to show you something here that I've noticed that we would take into consideration. Hey, Maximalist. Good morning, my friend. Thank you for getting the heart me. Oh, Rocky. Oh, I was wondering if y'all would be able to see those trumpets. They're new. Thank you for the trumpets and for the roses. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So if I am going to really pay close attention to my details here, where this is like a clean straight line that meets the edge of this line here, and this, it falls at this certain place. Now when I go across, if I take my pencil straight across, if I was to use a ruler and and place it down so I could have my like a straight line across here, y'all, do you see that? This, the end of this does not match the end of this. And even though we haven't learned perspective yet, the reason that is happening is the angle that this photo was taken from seems to be, I mean, it at first glance appears head on, but it might be a little bit shifted. And so this part of the image doesn't go back in depth. Yeah. Right, Rocky. So this part of the image doesn't go back in depth the same that this part does. So those are some of the things that I'm kind of going over. Again, when you learn perspective and those things will come into play. But from an observation perspective, hey Maximalist, thank you for the trumpets. Y'all and these I was excited with the trumpets. Maximalist, it doesn't match, but I was excited because they were new. So, it's one of those things where folks have a lot to say about using the rulers and the tools and all that stuff. But I'm telling you, just a simple throwdown, and let me use the ruler that you can see through so that you can see that it actually does fall below. Morning, Nika Grace. Thank you for joining. Thank you for getting your heart me and for the Go Populars and for the shares. So this is the end of this is a triangle, y'all, but that's the end of my shape there, and you can see it here. you can kind of see below that the other side falls below. So we need to address that. We need to address that in our refining. Could we have addressed it in the first phase of the sketch? Absolutely. I had just gone super simple with it at that point. And that's what ends up happening is as you're practicing more, as you're doing more, your initial first sketch is going to be probably be so much more detailed than than some of these. I'm not saying that this is not okay. I'm just saying that that initial first sketch, as you learn more, as you practice more, as you develop the skill, as you hone the skill, that initial first sketch um is going to look different. It will have a lot more detail in it. So how do I address this? Let's figure that out. So eyeballing again, I didn't use the ruler to eyeball where this end is. I eyeball that it hits about halfway. Now you can use the ruler if you want this precision and accuracy, feel free. But I'm not going to. Honestly, this morning I'm not. Hey Gloria, how are you? Um, this morning I am um I'm I'm not I tell everybody in the morning sometimes I'm not 100% warmed up for this stuff just yet. So I'm just going to eyeball some of this right now. So I am going to um kind of throw up my angled line here uh that is this line here. I'm going to throw that up. And then the other piece is I am going to through the second line over here because it's slightly different. It's slightly lower down. I'm going to throw that line a little bit further down and toss that up here. So again, in my first sketch, I could have dropped down some triangles here as my basic shapes and addressed it then, but we're in our refinement stage. We see it. Um, Um, okay, I will try to fix hurting your ear. Are you able to hear me now? It is a short in the cord, Gloria. I know what it is, which is why if honestly, I don't know what to say about it hurting your ear. Um, I'll try it again, and if the short doesn't stop, can you hear me now? It's okay, Rocky. Can you hear me now? I just won't bother to use the mic. Yeah, I just won't use the mic. All right, so now I am going to address the roof line here. Again, we have curves here. Bala, I didn't say hello. Good morning. How are you this morning, Bala? Feral Mom, good morning. Thank you for getting your heart me. Thank you. Thank you, Gloria. You said you're sorry. Why are you saying thank you, Rocky? Because I said you're good? No, you're sorry. If it's broken, it's broken. It's not your fault. I mean, I know that that issue does happen with the mic um until I get the new ones. I have a whole audio setup that I'm working on. So until that happens, I'm using these old iPhone things, and they Some mornings they're fine, and some mornings they mess up. So no, you're a good friend. I'm just honestly, I'm not really 100% warmed up yet this morning. So I was just like, whatever. I can't be. I'm not fighting with these headphones. Bala, where are you? Are you still here? I saw you shipped your first Etsy order. Is it still choppy? Bala, are you still here? Maybe not. I gotta send her a chair. This is our chair for Bala. She just shipped her first Etsy order, so we're excited for her. Um, because the music plays through TikTok Live Studio. Rocky, the music is playing through the computer through TikTok Live Studio. The music is always going to be clear. So yeah, I'm just gonna draw and not talk. I'm just gonna draw and for right now not talk. So y'all can listen to the music. I'll turn the music up a little bit. Y'all can listen to the music. And I'll keep going from there. I'm there's no it's fine. I mean, I'm not making TikTok stress me out. So if it's too much to bear, I'll see y'all on another day. I get it. Otherwise I'm just gonna draw. Folks, you can still ask questions. I'll try to type the questions in the chat. Um feel free to still ask questions. Bala, you're back. We just did our cheers for you. Now that you're back, you get it again. That's for you, friend. Congratulations on your first Etsy ship out. Y'all, I love to talk so much that I can't even. Eggnoggin, welcome in. Alimo's art, welcome in. Chef Amp, thank you for the follow. Liz, ma'am, welcome in. Steve, welcome in. Tamika Belfield, welcome in. Thank you for joining. What? It was clear? Is it clear again? If it's clear again, that means it is actually TikTok and not my stuff here. So much better than you know. You're alone. Oh, Rocky, you're good. Thank you. Take care. Have a good day. Take care of yourself today. Get rest if you need it. So, y'all, I guess we are back in business. I'm going to leave the mic thing out because I do think that does have it does glitch. So I'm just going to do this for right now. Let me know, and you all let me know if you can, if it's you can't hear it or whatever, and then I'll stop talking again. Yeah, there's some baby detail in here that I'm going to have to make sure that I address on the next round. So the curtains that are in the window, I am not going to address the curtains um, with line work because once we get to um, adding value to create form, that's where I'm going to use it because the creases in the curtains, I'll be able to define the curtain form using some kind of like shading. Technically, because it's so tiny, it's going to probably just be lines. But right now, I realize that you can't see this. Sorry. Um, These curtains here, I'm not going to address them with lines just yet. Um, because normally for I was doing this larger, these would be like shaded areas in some way. Because it's so tiny, it is going to be little lines, but I would address this with some kind of form. There's shading all around here, but some kind of shading or to create some kind of value, whether it's shading, cross hatching, hatching, whatever it is, to create value um, in these areas. Have a great day, Bala, and lots more Etsy orders for you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Asia Lee, thank you for joining. So inconsistent what's happening here. All right, y'all. Now I'm going to go down to this chimney thing here and add a little bit of detail here. Oh, actually, you know what I need to address before that? This side of the roof is higher up than this side. So I need to extend this side of the roof up. And it's not significant, but it is higher up for whatever reason. So I've addressed that here. Okay, Nika Grace. And then we'll add this detail here. So again, y'all, I started a back to basics drawing practice for myself. Oh, this needs to be a lot smaller. I'm an illustrator and a printmaker, and I started a back to basics drawing practice for myself, so that I could come up with some fresh new drawing ideas for some work that I want to do in this year. I started it last year, so I've been in my spiel, I've been saying 2026. But we are here now, so I want to do some new work. So, wanted to kind of go back to basics to revisit some fundamentals, revisit some technique that I haven't touched in many, many years. And so that is what I am doing now. I am going through and doing these basic drawing exercises in the morning. What I did initially was go through and identify shapes, put those shapes down in proximity to each other and in proportion to each other. So that's how I was able to achieve the initial basic sketch. Next step is this refining of the sketch that I'm doing. So now I'm going to find this. This was my basic sketch, and now I need to find my and now I'm going to find my image and figure out where that image is, what it looks like. Y'all, is it terrible? I do not remember. I think this is this. Yeah, this is this. Um, this is this building here. So that's our image. Excuse me, y'all. That's our image, and that's what I'm going to be using. So now that the sound is a little bit better, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. Um, hey Chunky, good morning. How are you? How are you doing this morning? Now, so this is this, y'all. Now I have to figure out where do I start with adding my detail. Hey Trisha T. Oh, thank you for stopping through, Chunky. I appreciate you a lot. We're having I think a slow weird morning because my audio was a little weird a little bit earlier. So I believe that I'm probably not getting pushed out right now, which is totally fine. I'm just going to keep drawing, and you all let me know if you have questions. Hey, Fresh Prince, welcome in. Thank you for joining. All right, y'all. This is. Okay. Let's start with the door. Let's do the door. Oh, you know what I forgot to do is, ta-da! My version of taking down my opacity is erasing these lines so that they're a little bit lighter to draw over. Y'all, I have a brush for this. This one wasn't that dark, so it's actually not bad. I have a brush for all my eraser marks, but I can never find it. If you illustrate traditionally, you're doing a lot of erasing, y'all, and sometimes it's easier to have that brush. Fresh Prince, you come hang out with us almost every day. When am I gonna earn a hello from you, huh, Fresh Prince? Tell me, when do I deserve the hello? When do I get the hello, friend? All right, y'all. One thing I didn't address the first time was Maximalist, you're back. Hey, Steve. Thank you, Steve. That wasn't geared towards you, Steve. I've had hellos from you before. um, but thank you. I appreciate you. It's good to see you back. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the end of my door is because I it looks like I might not have finished this initial sketch properly when I did it the first time. So I'm going to put the end of the door here, and I think I do have. I'm gonna have to uh, take the building down a little bit because the end of the building is a little bit lower than the door frame there. Oh, Maximalist, I know that. Don't worry. I figured y'all are risking it all while you're at work. I'm good if you're in and out. Trust me. All right, y'all. So now I can add some detail to the door. I need to zoom in here because, yeah, I cannot see. So I'm going to do this, the light frame around. And now I'm doing a lot of eyeballing this morning. So I don't have, I'm not doing a lot of measurement and all that. Ideally, I had done that in the beginning. There's some detail here, like this shadow area here from, you know, the door is recessed from the frame. So like this shadow area here, I'll address when I'm adding value. If I don't know if you all can see this, you're at home but working and listening. I don't know if you all can see this, but also, let me take the light down a little. Each one of the door panels has like a uh it actually there's some three-dimensional quality to it because the center parts of the door panels come forward, so there's some shadow here that again we'll address at the point of adding some shading. Because there are, if you look at it, there are at least three color values here that I'll need to address to add that dimension to the door. Crimp. Chunky, tell me what you're referring to. Is that something that is that the correct terminology for something that I said? I might have. Hey Trisha T, Patrice Delandro, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Chunky, tell me, is that the name of something that I are not like the accurate name for something? Tell me. Oh, you're gonna Google and make sure. All right, friend. Let me know. Let me know. And also, some of this detail, y'all, is going to be if we had done it larger. Hey, Coach Rhonda. Good morning, Trisha T. Thank you for getting your heart me, Coach Rhonda. Thank you for getting your heart me. If I had done this sketch larger, when we get to the point where we're adding value and creating some form using value, there would be a lot more shading. But because of the size of it, a lot of the value pieces are going to be just lines I'm going to be putting in because of the size of it. But if we were going larger, in some cases, like out here, where there's some shadow here, like if it was larger, we would do some maybe shading or some hatching, cross hatching here to add that value so you could see the recess of the door in the frame. Crimp in a door usually refers to a dent or bend in the door's metal edge. But Chunky, is that like if it gets dented after the fact? I wonder. This is actually the design of the panels in the door. It's actually, you cannot see the detail that well, but it's actually quite beautiful. There's the detail here. I don't know if y'all can see. You see this is a shadow here. There's a three-dimensional thing that's happening with each one of these panels. It's really beautiful. So the door is recessed from the door frame. And so if we were doing it in a larger way, I would use some kind of shading or value to like hatching, cross hatching, stippling, whatever shading thing you decide you would use for some of these shadows. But because it's so small, some of it is going to be just some slight line work, hatching, I suppose. I will use to define that so that you can you can see that the door is going back. But for right now, some of the detail I'm adding here really is going to just be about adding lines for the different pieces. So some of this, y'all, too, is it's an interesting thing when you start to look at, again, the observation piece. Here I said I was only eyeballing today, but I can't notice this stuff and not say anything. That's my thing. All right, so here's something to notice as well. I was showing this on this one earlier. So in this image, I'll show it now. And it's a similar thing that I'm going to show on this one. So in this one, we just did this building. So here, if I'm looking at this and I'm addressing this, remember, we haven't learned perspective yet. It is beveled. Yeah, Chunky. It's beveled. You're right. These shapes, because we're looking at it from a basic shape perspective, where this darker area is, we know that means, this thing isn't flat against, this window section isn't flat against the roof. But one of the ways to draw that without knowing perspective and without having learned perspective yet, because we're beginners, is to drop this. These are triangle shapes here. If you look at that dark section, that's a triangle, like this here that I drew here. So the thing though to pay attention to is, normally if something is a straight on photo, these would have been very likely to be symmetrical, even placement, so you can see the going back in that specific way. However, soft shell crabby, thank you for the follow. However, this photo, obviously, it's not, the person's either, I'm showing it here and I should be showing it here. The person's either a little bit to the right and not dead center of the building when they took the photo. And you can tell by how this goes back. The end of this falls further down. It falls further down than the end over here. And so that's something to address in putting down the shape here. So this triangle fell, the point here, I put it a little bit further down than this because somehow they are shifted just a tiny bit to the right. So their view is just a tiny bit more on this side than it is on that side, if that makes sense. So some of those things are the things that when you're really, really now honing in on what you're focusing in on and your observation, you start to see those things. And again, y'all, it's something that happens as you're doing it more and more because you're building that muscle. You're building the muscle of that observation piece and noticing those little things. So same thing here. Y'all, this is very, very slight. But it's a similar thing here with this door. If we were straight head on, these lines would look slightly different. They might not line up completely with this because I don't think that's the design of the door. But these lines, so this panel here, it looks like it probably, if we were straight in front of the door, they might be a little bit more equal size. But because we're shifted over a little bit, it looks like the person is shifted a little bit. So what you're seeing here is this is a narrower panel than this panel over here. I'm not saying that's probably not how the door is, but it is even more narrow because of the point of view that the person is in. And those are the things that when we learn perspective, when we go over the perspective stuff, which I still need to figure out when I would do that. Perspective, I don't always feel confident with perspective, much less to show folks, but I'll show y'all what I work on. Anyway, you get the point of what I'm saying. So right now I'm just trying to lay down these lines similar to how they're laid down here, and not try to fix it, because initially I was like, wait a minute, this probably should be wider, but I'm putting it down exactly how I see it here and addressing it that way. Y'all tell me if my sound is okay. Because I know sounds. Thank you, Love Niche Art. I appreciate you. I was having some issues earlier. That's why I'm asking. Buttonwood Farmstead. Good morning. Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate you. Hey, TG. Y'all, I'm co-streaming on the YT. So I'm like managing my chat over there. It's not like so many people are over there, but I'm gonna see. One morning I'm going to start talking out loud to the people on the YT and see how that goes. Thank you for the follow, Buttonwood Farmstead. All right, y'all. So now I am going to put in the lines for where the panels would sit. TG, I'm gonna always say do it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. TG, I always say just do it. And I am always like, don't try to do it per. It takes longer over there than over here. So start as soon as you can. I use the same content here as I do there. The same exact content. Literally like the same videos that I've edited. All right, y'all, I have to spin this a little bit so I can see it. Coach Michelle, thank you for the follow. I agree with you, TG. Um, I always, if I'm doing it, I think about it as like a teaser to the actual thing. Your phone camera? You feel like your phone camera quality is not good? Hey, Be Easy, how are you? Yeah, I'm really trying not to do too much line work in here because some of, like, too much outline work because some of this detail I'm going to get in the shading part. TG, try it. Try it because most people actually are watching from their phone or their computer. Try it. Actually, some of the videos I make, I am making on an 8. Some of my videos are on an iPhone 8 because I'll FYI also TG a lot of the videos that you're watching are not like 4K. They're 1080 ADP and um 10 they're 1080 and your 12 handles that just fine. Don't overthink it, my friend. Just start and your videos will get better when they get better. Literally, just start and your videos will get better when they get better. Yeah, it is super dark. I know it doesn't look dark to y'all, but it's very dark in this room because I'm gonna do the light a little bit brighter. Yeah, I'm leaving this door alone because there's a lot of detail on here that I'm going to address in like the final. Exactly, TG. It's just so much slower that you might as well get started and don't second guess yourself. Just do it and then you'll just take your time and get better and better with your video as you get the tools. Um, and I know for some people, like the quality of the video is like one of these things where I know they love to say, oh, people are not gonna watch if your video quality is in 4K or something like that. But that's just not true. It's just not. It's just not true. Will some people not watch because of that? Maybe, but not everyone will not watch because of that. All right, y'all. So I am addressing this angle on the roof here. The roof line has a little bit of a kick out here. You can see it that I didn't have down there before. There is also right under here again. Oh, I keep showing, but you're not seeing. Right under here again. Most of this, because of how the shadow is here will get addressed from when I start adding the value to create form. But there is a slight line here, because whatever this is that treats, I don't know if that's stucco, it might, whatever it is, there is a physical seam there at the end of the. People used to watch burnt DVDs with traffic, so they'll watch. We'll watch you, TG. You just gotta tell us. But it's true. Somebody will watch. Bryden over here is watching me, and he's in Australia, and I know my quality isn't great over there because I can see it. TG, y'all, those days with the people standing up in the theater and coughing because somebody was in their chair filming. Wild work. The things we used to do. All right, y'all. So again, another thing that we see here, when I drew this simple shape as a trapezoid because it really is a simple shape of a trapezoid. But there is a certain dent here and a certain dent here. There's a dip in that roof line and a curve that I need to now put in. But the good news is I have my baseline here already, so it would be easier to put it in. Roots of Art, good morning. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to go ahead and put that dip in. And that dip is hitting right about where, that dip is hitting right about where the baseline for the window is, right? So I am going to go ahead and have that then match where that baseline is to get it as close as possible to what's going on the screen. And then I'll take the line, I'll follow my original sketch up there and take that line up. So we're still refining, but we are still being super simple with it. And TG, I have to tell you that, Artistic Avenue, good morning. Tomato Pisces, good morning. Johanna, good morning. I'll tell you this. Before today, I would have this whole back to basics process. TG, you've been in here when I'm doing like just doing the hatching and the cross hatch practice and just doing lines and lines for the whole 2 hours. I did that for weeks. It's definitely been a trip. Let's put it that way, especially as someone who is not a beginner. And I've always been someone, thanks for the follow, Roots of Art. I've always been someone that loves to skip ahead. And because I know what is ahead, every single second of this, I want to skip ahead. But I promised myself that I was going to take this nice and slow. For each piece of the practice, I was going to go deep down. So I have to keep reminding myself that the headspace that I am in is supposed to be that of a beginner. So I'm not supposed to know the steps ahead. I'm just supposed to be going deep with that specific thing. Let me tell you. Y'all, I think if it wasn't for this live stream and doing it on the live stream, I don't know. I don't know if I would have kept it up. I'm glad that I have kept it up, but I'm glad I have kept it up. Yeah, TG, and that's the thing is that I have to keep reminding myself that really at the root of all this is so much there is just so much that I'm establishing at the root at with this practice that I'm just gonna keep going. Um, and I think what's happening to me also is I'm in a place where, I'm going to be 47 in May, and I'm in this place where I feel like maybe a little. I've been in this hustle mode with the business for the last several years. Maybe a little slowing down isn't bad for me too. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I'm trying not to rush this. I'm trying not to rush it at all. Oh, but also we were, was that yesterday we were talking about the time stuff, TG, the mornings and stuff. I'm gonna start moving these actually to the evenings. Um, so I am going to start going live in the evenings again. And I'm going to move the basic art practice to the evenings because I think that more folks have some flexibility in the evening. Um, Not that I expect anybody to sit here with me for the whole 2 hours, but you might be able to catch a bigger chunk of it in the evening because whether you have work, whatever whatever your daily routine looks like, there's I'm thinking about being there in like that wind down time potentially, and then like for folks that are not on the East Coast, they've gotten home from work or stuff like that. So I'm seeing how that's going to work. Um, but I'm going to be doing the this in the evenings. I'm still going to go live in the morning, but in the morning I'm going to be doing like my regular artwork stuff. So let's see what happens. I'm going to start that in February. So a lot more in the mornings you'll see carving, printing, those types of things. Um, I have some work that I need to do for like I'm refreshing the stationery brand, things like that you all will see me working on in the mornings versus the basic drawing practice. You said Gloria's taking down data and what the peaks look like. Oh, that's a good idea. I have done that. I have done that too, TG, because I go live at night. I'm not going live at night in January, but I used to go live at night a couple nights a week. And the thing is that what I've noticed is it's specific to the person, first of all. And it's also so inconsistent, um like based on the day. Yeah, I hear you, TG, because that's why I started doing the mornings, but I've decided I'm going to start setting up my days a little bit differently too. So let's see what happens. Like when you say very early, you mean like 6 a.m. early? Like you're Eastern, right? Yeah, I think you're Eastern. Like 6 a.m. Eastern early? Oh, I love this song. Yeah, you might not think it, but that's actually a sweet spot. There are actually quite a number of artists on at that time. A lot of the international artists too. And they have folks in their room. So 6 8, and the thing to remember is that it's not it's an international broadcast. So you will get folks in the room. So I feel like you should do it. Do it. Do it, friend. I'm going to tell you to do it. I'm going to tell you to do it. And I'm also going to tell you to do the white tea again. Every time I'm going to tell you. Because, I get up at, I wake up between 5 and 5:30 in the morning. And sometimes at that time, I'm like drinking my coffee and I'm like sometimes on the app seeing the folks. So Oh, that is an yes. TG, that's perfect. It's your you time, it's your time to, and you can set it up however you want. There are lots of people that don't have this camera on them, so they don't have to do the like intense engagement. You can set it up however you want too. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Do that. Listen to me. I'm like, do that. I like that. Right before your son wakes up, that is nice me time. Do it, do it, do it. That is actually a very good time on here, based on what I've seen. So, um, I'm in South Florida. I'm in the Fort Lauderdale area. I am in the Fort Lauderdale area. Though I will say I'm always asking folks where they're located to get some info on like other places, because I always tell myself that I this is not my forever place. So I'm going to explore trying figuring out another place to live next, like where to go next. So I'm always asking folks about where they live. Like if some folks will be like, "Oh my God, Leanne, you would love it here. It's this, it's that," and I welcome all that information because I am thinking about where to go next. Yeah, I did it again. I ignored my triangles here. Shut up, TG! Really? Is that where you are right now? I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry I screamed. Is that where you are now? You said you're from, so I'm assuming that's not where you are now. You're in South Carolina. Would you recommend? You're a Floridian baby. I actually moved here 10 years ago because yeah, next month it's 10 years since I bought this place. Um yeah, 10 years ago I moved here. I lived in New York for over 15 years. And I moved here from Brooklyn. And so you know what though, TG, the problem with me is that I came here from New York City. You know, I like it here a lot, but I miss New York a lot. But I'm not moving back to New York. But I'm trying to find that place. Some people say to me, some people have said North Carolina. I guess I never thought about South Carolina. South Florida, though, I try to explain the difference here. Shut the heck up. So TG, so I lived in Brooklyn, but I worked on Long Island, not far in. I worked right in New Hyde Park. So not super far in on Long Island, but that's wild work. User 18744, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. That is wild work. This world is so small. See, and then you left Florida again. South New York, because you're right, TG. Although I have to tell you, some things have shifted here. I think a lot of folks came here during the pandemic. The energy is a little bit different now. Not significantly, but slight. But you are so right. That is so wild. Yeah. Oh. This is such a world, such a small world. You never know. You never know who and what you'll encounter. Giuseppe, welcome in. Thank you for joining. The only other place you can do that is in New York City. TG. The only other place you can do that is in New York City. So you are 100% right about it just being like a southern New Yorker space. Oh, so you need a little bit of crisp in the air. The heat here is so it's interesting that you said that, not for health reasons, but just in general. I miss a little bit of crisp in the air. Oh, hey, Agony Prime. I didn't even see you. You'll be right back. Okay. But I miss a little bit of crisp in the air, which is why I keep saying to myself that I want um to figure out my next move. I mean, and when I say that, I don't mean like this year or next year, probably in the next couple years. But I'm trying to figure out where it doesn't get too cold, but it gets crispy so that I can wear my fall spring clothes kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So if you have recommendations, anyone, if y'all have recommendations, throw them out there. I even said I was going to do my astrocartography because that's supposed to be helpful in kind of figuring out where the places that you would ideally thrive based on your astrology. Someone recommended that when they came in here, actually. So I've thought about doing that, but I also take recommendations. All right, so that's good. I feel like that's enough. I'm not adding any more detail right now. I need to do something else with this thing. It's bothering me. You don't like being hot? Savannah. Does Savannah get cool though? The Rain Gallery, welcome in. Thank you for joining. For the folks that are outside the room and for the folks that are newer in the room, just to give you some info, my name is LeeAnn. I am an illustrator and a printmaker. And I started a back to basics drawing practice for myself. So I'm here in the mornings doing beginner drawing exercises. So that's what you see me here doing. I started this particular thing doing super simple, using super simple shapes to throw down initial sketches of objects. Whether, I'm focused right now on building facades. We were doing still life, we did some cars, we did some boats. And so now I'm going through and doing like a next level of refining of this sketch, and adding some additional details. So that's what you see me here doing. So feel free to drop any questions that you might have, or feel free to hang out, listen to some tunes. Some folks do hang out and listen to the tunes. Um, and or join into the conversation if you have some suggestions, whatever we're talking about. I just want to let you know that this is on our channel, but we do talk about lots of things here. So you said Georgia is mild, it gets colder but not freezing. I never thought about Savannah. A lot of people have recommended Atlanta to me. A significant number of people have recommended Atlanta. Atlanta. Some folks have recommended Austin. You don't like being hot, but be easy. Aren't you in Louisiana now? You were you because you're not in Georgia anymore, right? SCAD is right there, so I'm sure it's like a super. Oh wow, that is a long time. You're a painter and you rely on projectors for many of your initial sketches. You want to get away from that. So Rain, tell me what you're so are you projecting an image that, like, you project your reference image